Sometimes we just think that we need to do more courses, we need to improve more ourselves in order to show up, because we think that we have to show this perfect level professional that we want to look, in front of people. But at the end, I think it's like you just gotta do it because you keep learning and growing in the process. And that was a big learning for me.
Yeah, and kind of just have to fail along the way and figure it out. So awesome. Hello and welcome everyone to Her Money Club Stories. My name is Raechelle Minney. I am the founder of Her Money Club. The intention for these beautiful discussions here is to collect women's stories of how they've overcome various challenges around money and how that unfolds with their life journey. Today we have Vanessa with us. I'm so grateful to have you here with us to share your story. And if you don't mind, just sharing a little bit about the work that you're into and what you're up to in the world right now.
Hi, thank you, Richard, for inviting me to this interview. Yes, I'm a dietitian, but my background is from Peru and I live in Australia. So I started doing online service since last year, and I'm helping women to connect with their body through intuitive eating.
Beautiful, beautiful. Do you mind sharing maybe a little bit of how you got into it or what prompted you to really get into the holistic healing and eating?
When I have my dietitian bachelor when I complete uni, I was focused just in building my practice, So I thought this is gonna be me. This is what I will do for a living. And then I went through like a stage of my life that I started going deep into the holistic world because of personal reasons. And I just fell in love with the process, with meditation, energy healing, yoga, and all those sort of things. And I always wanted to find like a connection between both things, because at the same time I was like seeing clients and talking about, diets and nutrition. And at the same time, I knew things that helped me in my personal lives, and I didn't know how to share that. That's why I started looking into more information, finding more things, and one thing just lead to the next thing, and just I'm here now.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. I know we kind of talked about that. How has that journey been so far in business?
I kind of like in the process of, growing my business, as it was easy for me just to see clients one-on-one and doing consultations. Since the pandemic and COVID happened, is when I stopped seeing my clients and I find another way. Some of them asked me, maybe we can do it just online. We can have, a call, a video call. So that's when it started. And I kind of met during the time other people, like I met coaches and I was new to that industry. And I was very interested. I wanted just to learn more. And that's when I decided, okay, I want to do this online. I'm going to, connect with things, intuition, dietetics, and I want to coach people. I want to do this for a living. And I start that, but I kind of have I kind of hit a wall on my business. I'm in the process, just hiring mentors, just getting more courses, just to find a way to grow my business. So
growing a business online process, it takes time and it unfolds, and it's interesting as I've done the same thing, especially through the pandemic and building more online presence. It's like you take a course and then you have to take another course because you have to put all the pieces together and find the right mentors. And so it's been really interesting for my own journey in that too. I know that a lot of women in Her Money Club are on similar paths where maybe they are looking to monetize a gift that they have or find a way to make money from a hobby. What have you learned so far that's been helpful from your courses or mentors that has really helped you step into like, I can totally make money online and that's possible?
What it helped me, to be honest, it was not the marketing strategies that I learned. What helped me more is just being around other successful women and being around people that they're having the same issues that I was facing and they overcome those things that kind of get me the evidence that is possible, and also mindset work. I think that's very important if you go to business.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me, it was the same thing when I was a part of a mastermind and learning all of these technical strategies. It wasn't the strategy that made me successful or even think that it was possible. It was the other people in the room. It was hearing their stories. We're all struggling with the same
Yeah.
things and trying to figure it out. And I think the most profound advice we all received was it doesn't have to look any type of way. It can look however you want. You just get to consistently show up for it. And one of my marketing coaches even told me, like, again, doesn't matter how it looks, but you got to show up and open your doors to your business every single day, even if it is an online business. And if you're not showing up and you're not sharing, then first of all, how selfish of you to not,
Yeah.
because you have these gifts, right? But two, you have to repeat your message often and early and often, because people will forget about it or lose sight of it, and that's okay. So just keep opening your doors as if you had a physical shop that you were opening your doors to every single day. And that's what was really for me, it like reminded me like, okay, if I'm not showing up, people don't know that this exists. So that was super
No,
helpful.
yeah, definitely. Sometimes we just think that we need to do more courses, we need to improve more ourselves in order to show up, because we think that we have to show this perfect, high level professional that we want to
Mhm.
look, in front of people. But at the end, I think it's like you just gotta do it because
Yep.
you keep learning and growing in the process. And that was a big, big learning for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of just have to fail along the
Yeah.
way and figure it out. So awesome. What do you feel like has been one big decision with money that has impacted your journey, whether it's in business or in life?
Well, money, it was always for me a very tricky topic. Even I remember since I was a child in my family, like you just hear things like, my dad used to say, money doesn't fall from the trees,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And you just grow up seeing like my background was, I came from a family that they didn't have many, resource, resource. Like the financial situation back then wasn't great. So my dad was working very hard just to, provide for us. During my time, just growing and seeing that environment kind of made me believe, okay, this is it. I need to work hard to have money if I wanna, have a better life. So at right now, I'm been I've been trying to be more bold with the investment that I make and the way that I manage to use the money or the relationship that I have with money. It's been a process, but I noticed that there've been some little wins, during this journey related to money, and I'm still learning because I know that it's not just outside. And right now I don't believe that you have to do much sacrifice or work hard in order to make money. Sometimes you can just have fun and do things that you love and you can get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and just learning about that, and I think it's big lesson for me if I wanna grow my business and become, more profitable.
Yeah, I love that you said that. And the playing aspect, there's something that I kind of joke around about. It's like, can we just plurk? Can we play and work at the same time? And using this term plurk helps remind me that it can be playful and it can be fun and adventurous to be on the journey, because I think we often, and society tells us it has to be hard in order for work to be established, and it has to be hard in order for you to make money. And that's simply not true. The more we can show up and play and have fun and enjoy it, the easier it is to actually receive money, and the more it enables us to make an impact to receive money. So I love that you said that. You mentioned, there's been little things that you've been celebrating. Do you mind sharing maybe an example of something that you just either overcome or had some celebrations around with money?
Yeah, like in the past, I remember like every time I just make an spend, I feel like, oh, I shouldn't do this because, money is not gonna last until the end of the month. And that was kind of like a habit, and I didn't realize that I was doing it too
Yeah.
consistent. So I never celebrate every time I pay, never ever. And what I'm doing now is like every time I just make an investment or, use my card for something, I just feel grateful that I can afford to pay for that.
Mm,
And also I feel happy that I'm gonna receive that service or that product in return, which didn't happen before. I
yeah.
used to get excited when money was coming into my account, but I wasn't getting excited about money leaving my account.
Yep.
But at the end, I think, yeah.
Yeah. That's a great habit to have, and something that we coach around in her money club too is how can we celebrate money and how can we celebrate the outflowing of money and knowing and trusting that tenfold will come back to us, and really experiencing money from that lens as a tool and a resource, not as a good or a bad thing, or making more meaning out of it than it needs to be. So yeah, the celebrating money is a good one to embody. Um, on the flip side of that, what's maybe one thing that either in the past or currently has scared you about money?
Oh, what scared me is like not having it, not having like a backup or saving account, because I think like if I lose my job tomorrow or some emergency happen, I don't have a backup, If I'm not able to work, I don't have the backup in the bank. So that is scaring me because I feel unsafe
Mhm,
around that thought.
mhm. Have you ever experienced that either with your family or anyone where that's happened, or is it just kind of this fear around it's possible that it could happen?
To be honest, I was thinking about that in previous years, and I remember making a bad investment, and I was so excited about this, and I just paid for this investment, and part of that was the saving, and part of that was the debt to complete the amount. Well, it wasn't a good decision, and it kind of like I remember that situation. It was a bad time in my life, so I just associate that experience of, how bad it feels not having money and just having to pay a debt. And I was thinking, I'm just so, I'm just so frustrated. I'm just so angry with myself. And I even feel like I'm getting sick because, when you get stressed, you actually can get sick. And I was thinking, what happened if I'm not able to work tomorrow? Like, who's going to pay this debt? Oh, who's gonna pay my rent, things like that. And yeah, that was um really hard for me.
Yeah, really challenging. And I think we've all had some variation of experience with that potentially. I know for myself I did as well. And making some bad decisions around career choices and how I was willing to go the distance for something that wasn't really serving me. And to your point, kind of making that investment, mine was more of time and energy. But then getting to this point of, like you mentioned, frustration, and when we get so in the weeds in frustration or disappointment, it really wreaks havoc on our body. And I don't know if you want to speak into that further, because I believe that that's like a real thing. If we're stressing ourselves out or in frustration or disappointment or fear in our minds, that definitely moves into our body and creates um, dis-ease, which is
Yeah,
diseases, right? And having that
right.
dis-ease constantly creates more and more friction. So what are your thoughts around how, like from a even just health and wellness perspective, we can really operate from this place of ease?
I remember when I was working in the hospital before, and we used to have like a different sections. And I remember there were two different patients. They both had a really bad accident, and one was in a worse situation than this other guy. And when we used to go and visit them, one of them has like a better mood. He always was happy, even his body was in really bad shape. And this other guy that we were thinking that he might leave the hospital, before the other patient, I remember we used to go to visit him in the morning, and he say, you know what, just leave me here, I don't want to leave. He was in really bad
Mm,
mood. He wasn't happy with his life. And that guy who was in a better mood, he was more motivated. He always was happy, like even he was in pain, he recovered very quick.
mm,
And this other patient, he didn't have the same, luck. I don't know how to say.
Mhm.
So for me, that was like a proof that definitely our thoughts or feelings, the way that we approach thinking, creating, have an impact, not just in our health, in different areas of our life.
Absolutely. I love that evidence, right, that you were able to experience because it's so true. And we may not always recognize it within ourselves, but we can see it in others. And our mood and our thoughts and our emotions impact our behaviors and our choices and our actions. So the
Definitely.
same thing is true with money. The more we can celebrate money and come at money from this place of gratitude, the more ease we have with it. I love that. Um, to kind of wrap up a few of these pieces, what projects are you working on now that you would want women to know about?
Well, at the moment, I took a little break from social media, but I'm trying to go back with a new program. I'm working on my new program just to, work through intuition and connect with nutrition to help romance. Because in the past, I used to just do the normal consultation. So I'm not counting calories anymore. I get rid of that scale.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm just focusing creating this program. That will be a 10 weeks program, and I will announce that on my social media. If you want to find me on Instagram, my IG handle is _ holistic hair.
Underscore holistic health. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we'll have to make sure everyone connects with you there. And I'm happy and excited to see how your journey unfolds. So thank you so much for being here today and sharing your perspective and stories around money. And I really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.